It's been more than 2 decades since the number one pick had expectations quite like Cooper Flagg. We're going to talk about that with D Magazine's Mike Piellucci here in studio. Coming up next on DLLS Mavs. Hello, welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the DLLS Mavs podcast. I'm Tim Cato, once again doing my best Kevin Gray impression as we ride out a week of no Kevin. You know,
it's rough.
Not doing well with it either.
not today.
We miss him badly.
Yeah. No, this is day 3 of hosting, and I'm like,
we don't
Kevin,
have Bobby either,
back.
So the two guys on the end have to do more heavy lifting than
you know who we do have though. D Magazine's Mike Piellucci, my old podcast co-host at Only Mavs, the Only Mavericks podcast, and at 77 Minutes.
Your old editor,
Mike.
Your old editor.
Welcome.
Well, you know,
we don't even.
The Only Mavs podcast. I'm guessing that was irony and when led to that title.
Oh, are there others? We're a YouTube show. You know, it's really sad. There's just no podcast left in the space.
No, we did have to give it up when Tim took this job, and we were forced to acknowledge there are in fact other Mavericks podcasts.
Yeah, it was a dark day.
And here we are on a different Mavericks podcast, about to have some fun.
Yeah, we got Mark Stein, of course, our National NBA insider. What do you think of the digs, Mike? What do you think of the
very classy?
space?
I feel like brick classes up anything, and there's a lot of brick in this building. So it's lovely. I'm a big fan.
A lot of brick, a lot of takes.
A lot of takes.
A lot of bricked takes.
Build those takes brick by brick?
No, I mean, you said Bobby's not on the show. So, yeah.
I mean, he's supposedly in meetings and too busy to join us, but I've seen him walk by like 6 times already. I've only been here for 5 minutes.
I listened when my new colleague, Mike Marshall, was on Monday, and I learned just how much Bobby hates meetings. So that must mean that he really doesn't like the show if he's choosing to be in meetings over being on the air. Or he doesn't like me. That's probably what it is. Bobby just doesn't like me, and he doesn't want to be on here.
So, Mike, you said you used to be my editor. That's true.
Yes.
Despite living in somewhat of a, it's all about video now, baby.
Yeah, bud.
But you were, and at D Magazine, you're the sports editor at D.
Yes.
And a lot of what you do is more of the Jason Kidd, the old classic point guard role. Like all the young kids, like they want to shoot, get their own shots. They all average 25 points a game. Certainly at D, you are more the distributor. You're more the classic role type. But I was looking through and looking for stories that you've written lately. You pop in here and there. There's a story last month, The Great Expectations of Cooper Flagg, that I wanted to kick this off with. And I think it's gonna start off a pretty wide-ranging combo, getting a lot of your thoughts, you know, giving you a chance to, you know, kind of go back and that's gonna be like the Only Mavericks podcast days.
All right.
But I do want to start it off with Cooper Flagg and the idea that, as we know, this is a very unusual situation for a number one pick to drop into.
Right.
Dallas is trying to win now. They want to win now. Cooper Flagg is coming in to start for a team that has playoff aspirations, for a team that has title aspirations, as stated, as said, ever since Dallas traded Luka Doncic. You know, the idea with that was that they're going to go win now, that this is going to help them win more right now. And so when you look at Cooper Flagg, he is somebody coming in not just with expectations, and certainly he's not coming in as a savior per se. But then you look at the roster and the way that it's set up and the idea that, you know, he is going to be the second and third options. You know, he's going to be the second option in a lot of lineups. He's going to be coming in to score, to create, to help Dallas right away. Maybe even in situations where they, you know, kind of look at the roster and it's like, Cooper, you're going to have to do this. You know, like you're going to have to be a creator. You're going to have to be an offensive force, an offensive weapon. And, you know, that you know, it was some of what you were writing about in the piece. I think it's a bigger idea even than that. But I do just want to start with the idea that, yeah, there's a lot riding on Cooper in a way that is not typical, you know, since probably Tim Duncan of a first-round pick coming into the NBA, winning right away.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely correct. And what's so interesting about that is what his skill set is so fascinating because the floor is so high everywhere. You know, the people who do this for a living who evaluate talent, I think the one refrain that kept popping through is that, you know, you can debate where the ceiling is. It's obviously very high. But the floor just seems to be so high across the board in everything he does. And so that makes it plausible for Jason Kidd to come on this show and say, hey, I want to see the ball in his hands. And it makes it plausible for, you know, I think it's not unreasonable to assume, given the injury histories, that Anthony Davis is going to miss time at some point. Derek Lively will miss time at some point. Maybe they miss time at the same time. It's not unreasonable to then take Cooper Flagg and say, you know what, go play the 4. Go do that. It's so interesting to imagine what he can do that as a result, you can kind of imagine a world in which he sort of caulks a lot of these holes that they have at different times of the year. The question is then becomes, you know, what is he going to be come playoff time? Because this is, to me, definitely a playoff team. And then what is reasonable to ask of him in that role versus what he can deliver. And it's just, it's very, there's a lot of unknown, even though he's a prospect with such a high floor. And I don't know if we have really that kind of dichotomy with a lot of guys who enter the league.
I presume you are a Dallas native.
I am.
What high school did you go to?
Jesuit.
So you grew up a Mavs fan,
Sure.
clearly.
Yeah.
So when you watch the Mavericks win the lottery, paint that picture for us.
So funny enough, I have a 16-month-old at home. And I was taking the Jason Kidd approach to this whole deal of assuming this lottery isn't going to. I know the history of the Dallas Mavericks. I know that they are not moving up in this lottery because they've never moved up in any lottery. And even if they cash in on decades of overdue luck to move up in this lottery, it's not yielding the one guy who changes the franchise. So I'm getting my daughter down to sleep and I'm rocking her and I'm singing some premium grade Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And my phone just starts buzzing like I'm getting tased. And I'm like, there's no way. And I get her down and I look and there was in fact a way. And so that's how I found out. I did not see this in the moment. Just like Jason Kidd did not see this in the moment.
So you got text because they moved into the top 4 or you got text because they won?
Well, as I was going back through, it was the top 4 in the commercial break. And then it's the OMGs and the oh my God.
So you missed it.
I missed it. Well, I didn't think there was going to be something to miss, Mark Stein. 1.8% chance versus 100% chance that
you missed the greatest draft lottery moment in Mavs history.
The only great Mavs lottery draft moment in history. I did not see that live, and thus came back to it. And these days it's covering the team is work as much as anything. So then it became, all right, well, what are we doing? Much as you guys had the same exact moment here.
Please tell me your first call was not to Damaris.
You think Brian already knew? My first call was actually Jake Kemp because Jake Kemp was the one who wrote this piece the next day. He did a great job of it. That's
a relief.
Yeah, no. Brian knows everything. Brian's everywhere. His spidey senses are always tingling.
Don't encourage him.
Oh, come on now.
Don't encourage him.
Also, a D Magazine contributor, Brian Damaris, although he works for like every company at this point. He's going to have his own show here soon, I'm sure.
He's ubiquitous. He's omnipresent.
Yeah.
So I've got a trivia question for you guys.
Okay.
I think you guys might enjoy this. The last number 1 pick to be on a roster, to be on a team in his rookie year, that team won more than half of their games, had a better than 500 record. Duncan is maybe where your mind goes first. It's been a while. Like even Risa Shea just having 36 wins is stands out. Derrick Rose's first year with the Bulls, 41 wins.
Does Blake Griffin count?
Do what?
Does Blake Griffin count? He didn't play his first year, but...
No, but his first season, they won 30-something games.
How many did Yao win with Stevie franchise?
You nailed it already.
Hey!
43.
There we go.
43. It was the Yao Ming Rockets. They won 43 the first year. Even going back to like Shaq Magic.
They were 41 and 41.
Yeah, they were 41 and 41. Now, Magic going to the Lakers, but that's now we're talking decades. Obviously, they won 60-something. But yeah, it was Duncan winning 56 his rookie season and Yao Ming and the Rockets winning 43.
Is that 06? What year was Yao rookie?
05, 06, right? I didn't write down the dates. I'd have to pull it up. I got too many tabs open. Do what?
Yao Ming's rookie season.
When was Yao?
Oh my God.
That was the last time.
01, 02.
As Bobby comes up, saunters up, and yeah. But yeah, that was the last time that a rookie
I'm
came
losing
in.
it, man.
Number 1
Tanner,
pick.
I should be off the show after that.
No, that's right, because it was Yao and Steve Francis at the beginning, and then Steve got traded in the T-Mac deal. Because I remember that 04 series with Houston and the Mavs. At that point, that was T-Mac basically against Dirk.
Yeah. So it's unusual. And obviously, like, the unusualness comes from the
Edit
fact
that out, Tanner, when we post that I said whatever I said.
That Dallas had 1.8% odds. Like this is Dallas is not a usual team to win the lottery.
No.
But they are coming in. And I do think the idea that, Dallas doesn't just have its own expectations. I think there is a fan base in a city that has expectations that, hey, like getting Cooper Flagg and making this deal and having this future means something. But if you're going to keep the team together, if you're going to trade Luka for Anthony Davis and you're going to in every way double down on this team is going to work, this is going to make sense, and now you're adding Cooper Flagg to the mix, and obviously he adds hope to a team that was in a very dark place. But stakes and possibly tension at some point, I think is still high.
Yeah, and it's weird. Josh Bowe just did a piece for us this morning about, branching off of that, about how this team, for all the messaging about how they've been all in, which was what had repeatedly been said after the deal, they're not really acting like it this offseason, right? They still have assets to move that they haven't, and that kind of aligns with reporting that's been out there about how, they're going to try this 2 timelines approach, and that's all well and good if you're going to do that, but I don't think those expectations have been communicated, and I think there's going to come a time, because I think every team that's not a top 3 team in the NBA in a given year, and I don't think this team is that, has those skids. There's going to be a moment circa December when they drop 6 of 9. That's just what a team that is good but not really good yet, especially with Kyrie off the floor. That's gonna happen.
A team missing their most important player.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's going to happen, and that's probably going to coincide with Luka doing Luka things out in LA. And I think a lot of the stuff, I think we're kind of in this sort of detente right now of people are excited about Cooper, understandably so. And I think people at heart want to not think about what happened between Luka and Cooper. But the reality is that I don't think, a lot of the stuff never really got addressed and put to bed, right? I mean, the people who architected this trade, we haven't seen Patrick Dumont speak publicly. Nico Harrison did not speak publicly till towards the end of the year. The first time he did for a while was obviously that behind closed doors media session. And I think
that Stein was a big fan of.
Yeah. I was a huge fan too. They didn't want to invite me to that one.
Yeah. Why do public media sessions?
No, that's for the birds. But I think like a lot of this story, and I don't know if because I'm a nerd, I think about this, and I think whether you think about it or consciously or unconsciously, I think a lot about what that story has been is very much about less about basketball, because if this were just trading a player for a less than ideal return, if this were Paul George getting traded from the Clippers 5 years ago, this would have been put to bed in a week. This is about power and about place and about who gets to decide what happens to a cultural artifact, right? Because the owner of this basketball team lives in Las Vegas. The general manager is a Portland transplant who publicly admitted he did not know the kind of the legacy and the history of this organization and why people rally around the Mavericks. And when those people make a decision to take away something that feels bigger than basketball from people, and not only is there not really any kind of addressing or reflection on that, but when they fall into the Cooper Flagg thing, you hear statements like people see the vision and fortune favors the bold, as though they're retconning that the plan didn't go at all to plan and they got lucky and bailed out, but somehow this fits the vision that nobody wanted in the first place. Those things are going to be fine and put to bed if Cooper Flagg performs and this team plays well. And more often than not, I think those things will happen. But there will be rocky patches that will probably coincide with good things out in LA. And I think a lot of the stuff that we saw and a lot of that vitriol and frustration in the city that was kind of put to bed, that we saw a lot in March and April, I think we're going to see some flashes of that points in the year. Didn't it say they're not going to have a great year by the end? Isn't it say it's not going to, be the enduring theme? But I don't think we're through the worst of some of this stuff yet.
I've got more questions for you. Let's hit a quick break, and then I want to explore just what you think of the team and where the confidence level and you saying you think they're going to be a playoff team. We can get into that, but quick break first. Monarch Money is basically the Cooper Flagg of money management. It's going to be there for you. You can have high expectations for it because it's a generational prospect. It's more than a prospect. It's going to be a Hall of Famer. Finances can be messy. They can be confusing, but Monarch Money acts as your personal CFO, your personal number 1 overall draft pick, giving you full visibility and control so you can stop earning and start growing. It's more than your average budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and goals. Don't just manage your money. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for our listeners. Because without a clear financial picture, like, financial dreams can feel out of reach. What Monarch does is it just makes money managing your money simple, even in your busy lives. You can make sure that you're not accidentally like paying for 2 subscriptions, or like, money just slips out of the account sometimes. It's just nice to have somebody that's got your back. So get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code DLLS at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year. monarchmoney.com with the code DLLS. Branded bills. Whether you need snapback truckers fitted beanies or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. If you're looking for gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need. They have a partnership with 40 colleges as part of their college campus collection, including TCU, Texas Tech, and Texas. And I'm sure they're working on North Texas. At any moment now, my mean green is going to be represented. So head to brandedbills.com. Use code BBDLLS. That's BBDLLS for 15% off your first order. We're back at the DLS Mavs podcast with Mike Piellucci, sports editor at D Magazine, and Mark Stein. As always, you said, Mike, that you're confident this is going to be a playoff team. What makes you feel that way in a loaded Western Conference? Just yesterday, we kind of went through the ranking of the West. It is as tough as ever.
Yeah.
But Dallas is obviously very, very talented. This is a good roster with good players. What's the overall outlook and assessment right now?
I mean, look, the variable is always injuries. I think for any team in a vacuum, and especially this team with the aforementioned Anthony Davis and Derek Lively, I think there's a lot of presumption in the immediate picture, and especially in the big picture about Kyrie, just in the sense of this is a guy who's going to he probably comes back after his 34th birthday. This is a small guard who relied no small amount on quickness, and modern medicine's pretty great, and he's the sort of dude who will do the work to rehab as best he can, and maybe he comes back at 100%. We just don't ever know for sure. And if he doesn't, how do things look, not just in the immediate picture, but in this 3 to 4 year window that Dallas keeps citing? So we can doom and gloom about that. But I think ultimately this is a very deep team. I think there is a guy in Anthony Davis who we can sit here and question if he's the guy to be the best dude on a title team. But if we were talking about being the best dude on a playoff team, yeah, 1,000%. I think the floor, like we talked about for Cooper Flagg, whatever capacity he plays, is very high. It is a team that, when my pal Mike Marshall was on here the other day, he talked about a consolidation trade down the road. You only talk about consolidation trades if you're looking at a roster and going, wow, I've got 11, 12 guys who can play. And this team has that. And they're versatile. Yep, it's the front court. It's nothing you guys haven't talked about so on the show before. It's a very versatile group. Naji Marshall can play a lot of positions. PJ Washington, same deal. Flagg. I do very much buy Jason Kidd as one of the best leaders as a head coach in the league. Somebody who, if he wasn't, this thing would have splintered post-Doncic trade with all of those injuries going on. That's a high floor group to me. Is this a genuine title contender? I have to be convinced about that. I'm not there yet. I'd have to see a healthy Kyrie and see what this thing looks like to even begin to approach that conversation. But as a playoff team, yeah, I buy that this is a playoff team for sure.
So I think we have one more guest who's gonna pop in right now.
My guy,
Austin Gruya, formerly of the Only Mavericks podcast.
Little reunion right here.
Yeah, little reunion. What's up, Austin? How's life?
How are you guys doing today?
Ooh, audio levels.
Ooh, audio levels not good. Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
I think we're getting it. Mark Stein, I have to assume that you were a every episode listener of the Only Mavericks podcast.
It's the only podcast you can listen to about the Mavericks.
Right.
No, I mean, I want the bat. How did you guys come to, how did this podcast happen?
I started at The Athletic, and it was Tim's show. But then because I was at The Athletic and
then you rescued it.
Yeah, exactly. But then when they stopped doing before they stopped doing local podcasts, Austin was all the time too. And then us and Dave Dufour, was still at The Athletic, was on there with us. Eventually, The Athletic ended doing local pods, and the three of us decided to do one independently. And Tim would always introduce the show as the only Mavericks podcast that, and then fill in the blank for that day's topic. And we had an amazingly talented dude named Colin Cable, who was a musician and a great writer too. And he did the theme for 77 Minutes in Heaven, and it was so catchy. It's probably the most popular thing about our show. And when we decided to go,
it certainly wasn't us.
No. And
don't worry, Mark Stein. It was more about the theme song.
Yeah. And so when we decided to go independent, he just whipped up a song. We didn't even know what the name was, but he whipped up a song that was even catchier than the last one. And it was the hook was, "This is the only Mavericks podcast in the world." And we were like, I guess that's the show now. He made a great song that's better than anything we're going to do. Let's just go with that. And so that was it. So the three of us talked a lot of ball, and now Austin's in the Bay Area, thriving in much better weather than we live in down here. And but we're back.
It's very cold today.
Yeah,
that's bragging. You are aware that is a flex.
I have to put on a hoodie today because it was so cold. I was freezing in my apartment.
Unbelievable.
No, I've done a summer in San Francisco, and it is legitimately cold. I had to buy a North Face jacket in like July.
Okay, so something we did on the Only Mavericks podcast, and I would toss it to you guys, and specifically would sometimes toss it to Austin, because he is the person that, me and you, Mike, we grew up in the Dallas area, but it is a, fandom in, something that fades the deeper and deeper you get into journalism. But I would toss out a vibe check. And Austin is still very tied, I to your fandom, even from afar. Vibe check. What are the vibes of a Mavericks fan, former podcaster, current, video show guest? Where are the vibes at?
The vibes are much better than they were the last time I was on this podcast. I think I came on in January, and I said, you know what? The vibes are not good for this season. I was like, I think something bad is going to happen this year, and I didn't anticipate it being, that bad. But I would say the vibes, I think people want to forget, and people want to have a good time now. And now that Cooper Flagg is here, I think the vibes are much better. I mean, obviously everyone still misses Luka. I miss Luka, but I think it's a chance for something new. And I think it's not the same. It's not the car that we loved, but we did get a new one that's like pretty shiny, and I'm excited to drive it.
What are your expectations for him next season?
I mean, he should be the rookie of the year. I think he's gonna put up a lot of stats. I think he's just kind of a guy who fills the box scores, and he's a big production guy. He's one of the best, most productive college freshmen of all time. And I think he's gonna be oddly productive as a rookie. I think he's gonna be 19, 5 and 5. Because I think Jason Kidd is a sicko, and he's gonna let him handle the ball a lot and let him make a lot of mistakes and let him mess up a lot. But I think he's also going to be pretty he's going to have a lot of good raw stats, but not be very efficient.
Do you want to buy one of those pricey New Balance Cooper Flagg hoodies since it's so cold where you live?
I absolutely want one of those, and they're very pricey.
What are they going for? Is it 150 or something like that? Ooh, is that right? Or 75? They're expensive, whatever they are.
They're priced. Can you guys get a New Balance sponsorship and send some of those out?
I'll see what I can do.
Tanner, can you help? Can you help find how much they actually are? Somewhere they're online, what they're going for.
I think I'll see if we have people. So what we've talked about on the show a lot is the idea of this is a team loaded with redundancy in the front court. This is a team that has length and shot blocking and rim protection and defending and versatility, and it's just chock full of it. And they don't have Kyrie, and they now have D'Angelo Russell. And then you kind of look around the roster, and you look at the players who are going to be asked to create, the players who are going to be asked to step into these roles. Where are you right now when it comes to the Mavericks as a playing offense, trying to score with their shooting and with their playmaking and creation?
I mean, I think there's going to be some brute force a lot of the time. Between the lack of creation, I could see some healthy dose of Anthony Davis iso ball, between Cooper still, I think Summer League and you'd written about this, about how they're trying to make him uncomfortable by design, making him be a lead ball handler. Well, that's not just going to get fixed in 2 summer league games, right? We're going to see a little bit of that and a little bit of struggle there. And he's the sort of dude who, part of what's going to make him so fun to watch is aesthetically, I mean, forget just the skill level that he has, but aesthetically, there hasn't really been a Maverick like this, right? You know, it's so fun to see people compare him to so many different things. And one of them, when you watch just the way he tries to yam on people in summer league, I see like Larry Johnson pre-back injury sometimes with just the power he goes to the rim with. So I think it's gonna be a lot of, you know, and then you're gonna have some, you know, some D'Angelo Russell hysteria in there because he's hilarious. D'Angelo Russell is hilarious. So is this going to be smooth all the time? No. This is part of why when I say something like there's going to be that stretch of 6 losses in 9 games, because when they're hot, I think they're going to look really good. And when they are not, I think it's going to look really tough and really hard. And that's going to kind of fuel into the frustration that people kind of dig back up of it never, you know, like, hey, Luka knows how to move the ball well easily. And this is not that type of team. That's just the nature of the personnel they have. They'll do things better than that era of Mavericks basketball did. But there will be times where, yeah, offensively, this is going to be really up and down. And it's not going to be a thing, too, where when Kyrie comes back, suddenly it's fixed. Like, this could be a thing, you know, alongside the injuries, that if they underperform, that's probably to be the reason why, just because the offense will be choppy.
Mark, I have to, you know, I'm guessing this is the case, but when the Mavericks looked at the 2 games Cooper played in Summer League, maybe even including him talking about, yeah, it's really tiring, you know, to be bringing the ball up the court all the time, like being the main ball handler, dealing with that pressure, you know, like him talking about how he usually doesn't shoot that much. When the Mavericks looked at those 2 games, what did they think? Was that a success for what they were trying to do? Not just numbers, not just what he showed.
I think they were very pleased. You know, Jason Kidd, he likes to be a contrarian and, you know, doesn't try to hide it, and told the world that the ball was going to be in Cooper Flagg's hands, and it was. And look, we went over this yesterday. I mean, the immediate concern with this franchise is ball handling, playmaking. I've just heard it over and over and over again. Passing. They need guys on the floor who can pass. And look, it is a transition. As good as he was in college, he was only in college for 1 year. This is a step up, obviously a major step up. So, you know, I don't think you just hand the ball to him, but, you know, everyone who can dribble and pass is going to get a chance to have a role on this team while Kyrie's out. Every single one of them. And that's D'Lo, B-Will, Nebhard, Exum, Flagg as a point forward. And we didn't talk much about Naji yesterday. Naji has shown that he can run the team at times. They're all going to get chances because in today's NBA, you cannot have enough ball handling. I keep going back to that Chris Finch quote after Minnesota got knocked out of the playoffs, that what really opens up the floor, what gets you good shots in today's NBA is having multiple playmakers on the court. We've seen Indiana, OKC take that approach as well. So I think
we've seen Dallas do it. They went to the conference finals when all of a sudden Spencer Dinwiddie was the guy who unlocked it.
Yeah, and that was 3 years ago. So It's like I think they were pleased, and I think he's going to get opportunities. And I mean they're. I asked you guys yesterday, would you be more excited? We'll ask Mike now since he's our guest today. Would you be more excited at season's end, at the end? Cooper Flagg's going to win Rookie of the Year. We all expect it. But will you be more excited if he shoots the ball better than projected, or if he is if he can make better than expected coming into the season? And I think most people would say the latter.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things that it's much harder to cultivate than a more consistent jump shot. So, yeah, there's no question, because if you have that guy, then him as a long-term, because ideally he's probably a long-term secondary ball handler, right? Doing that at an elite level versus having to play the point forward type role that they're going to probably need him to do more than he should this year. So, yeah, if he proves that he could be an elite level secondary ball handler on top of the elite level help defense, on top of the rebounding, on top of everything else he does, oh my God, that just makes your roster construction so much easier.
And look, he has the size he brings to, I think I told you guys, this story that I was talking to somebody with the team, and I said, man, the size for his position is ridiculous. And they were like, well, what's his position? And they don't see him being locked into one position. I mean, he has 1 through 4 ability. What he could be a 1 through 4 in the NBA, depending on the situation, but his strength is not there. He's going to have to get stronger. And I think we already saw in Summer League that, he was only in college 1 year. He's, if he was born 11 days later, you can't even draft him. So he's nowhere near where he's going to be strength-wise eventually. And everyone you talk to is just like, this guy is going to be very, very good.
We're gonna hop into a second ad break real quick. Coming out of that, I'm gonna want reactions from Austin. I'm gonna want some hot takes. We're gonna see if he can deliver. Coming up right now. Mando is a men's deodorant brand that is hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. It is summer here in Texas, and I don't care if the Californians are wearing hoodies right now. If you're in Texas, you stink. All parts of your body, there's odor coming from somewhere. Just trust me. That's the reality of July in Texas. It's the pits, it's the belly buttons, it's the butt cracks, it's the grundles. And that's what Mando is here for. They're going to take care of all aspects of the body. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was misdiagnosed and mistreated. So Mando's clinically proven to block odor all day and to control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with their exclusive code. Use code DLLS at shopmando.com. At shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Empire Today is here for your flooring needs. Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, so too do your floors. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day of their lives. They live and breathe flooring. They're going to be with you every step of the way. They can even bring the showroom right to your home. So schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DLLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLLS. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DLLS for full details. Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs show, a Wednesday edition where we are recreating the Only Mavericks podcast. Dave DeFore, if you see it, just hard to get two guests, 2 screens on the screen, 2 silhouettes, 2 profiles, whatever it is.
He's in Long Beach. He's probably surfing right now.
Yeah, literally. It's like, man, it's just everybody's in California now.
I came back.
Yeah,
I came back.
And we are grateful for that.
Thanks, buddy.
Austin, where do you stand on the idea that everybody is going to handle the ball for the Dallas Mavericks next season? Everybody is able to, and it doesn't really matter if you don't have the heliocentric magical passer. It doesn't matter if Kyrie's out all of next year. This is just going to be like an egalitarian offense through and through.
I mean, that works if you play Anthony Davis at the 5. If you play Anthony Davis at the 5 and you're spread out, it's a lot easier to have that egalitarian offense and to attack closeouts and to have people sharing the ball and to whip it around. Because I think their entire starting 5, if Anthony Davis plays the 5, can handle the ball, can play make somewhat, and kind of can make it up in the aggregate. But if they play lively at the 5, I think that's just a lot more difficult with someone clogging the paint and trying to create dribble penetration and get into the lane. And I think they're going to try to do a lot of that, and they're going to play a lot of double big basketball and try to just kill people on the offensive glass and just maul people on the other end and get in transition. So I don't know how much that's actually going to work. I think it's a nice theory, but I think when it actually comes to the game and how much Kid actually wants to do that, I don't know how much he's actually going to want to play Anthony Davis at the 5, especially early in the season when Kyrie's out.
Yeah, it's funny when Kyrie first got injured before Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford came back. That's actually how Dallas played. And during that, I think it was an 8 or 9 game stretch, and it was, Kessler Edwards as the center. It was Brandon Williams running the show. It's just it was just 5-out basketball. It wasn't even amazing 5-out basketball. But that's how Jason Kidd reacted to that. And the offense in that little 9-game stretch was league average. Now, it was one of the worst defensive stretches in NBA history. It was like literally like offensive to the idea of playing defense, how bad they were defensively during that little stretch. And that's why they lost pretty much every game. But the offense wasn't half bad. I agree that it's going to look differently. You know, like this is going to be a little bit different of a setup. It's going to have 2 bigs. And so I'm going to go, I want answers from everybody. Yes, no. How do you feel about the shooting right now? Does Dallas have enough shooting? Austin, yes or no?
No.
Mike Piellucci.
No, sir.
Mark Stein, are you worried about how much shooting the Dallas Mavericks are taking into next season?
Yeah. I mean, but I think any team, almost any team wants more shooting. I'm more worried about the playmaking, but yeah, I would be much more concerned about the playmaking.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of both because we've talked about this, but playmaking and shooting are very harmonious. Thank you. See, this is why this man was my editor. They're very harmonious. One plays off the other, and Dallas can get away with it if they are playing those lineups. If they are playing, Anthony Davis at the 5, I think he is going to play more of that. Austin, that's hard for you to say, though, because I know you are Derek Lively's
good point there by Charlie
supporter.
Saturday. Tanner, throw that one, please, up on the screen.
Charlie Saturday says, important to note that when Kidd handed the reins to Giannis, the playoffs were already off the table and the team wasn't trying to win.
But I would also just say, handing the reins is too far of a description. I don't think Jason Kidd is saying, I'm handing the reins to Cooper Flagg as a rookie. They're going to explore the limits of how well he can handle it. In Summer League, that's one thing. But that's why you have D-Lo and B-Will, and that's why you're signing Dante Exum, because they're not saying, Cooper Flagg, we are putting the ball in your hands from day one. That's not what's happening here. We have 5 or 6 playmaking options when Kyrie Irving is not there, and I think the Mavs are going to explore every single one of them.
Yeah, and I think that dovetails. I saw a super chat from Sarah earlier where she was asking, basically, is there more pressure on Cooper Flagg to be not just good but great than any rookie in recent history? And I think the answer is probably no, just because there will probably be a messaging pivot if this does not go well. What will happen is if this does not work out well immediately, it will very quickly, the rhetoric that we saw of they are in this for this 3 to 4 window, it will turn very quickly to a Cooper's just a rookie. He's the future. We're learning about this. Because I think we've already seen some kind of, let's adjust the narrative to fit how the current circumstances are. So no, I don't think it'll be quite that extreme. And I don't think anybody's going to be upset at Cooper Flagg if this does not go well in year 1, because I think what will unfortunately happen, and I say unfortunately because I don't think this will be entirely fair to the effort that Anthony Davis would put in, because this is a guy who's been a pro and been very, very good for a long time. I think if this does not go well, Anthony Davis will be the face of this. And that's not something he asked to be. That's not a position it's fair to put him in. But people will blame the guy who was brought in for Luka Doncic far more than the young 18-year-old who I think objectively already knows is only going to do so much as a rookie and who is probably going to save them from however bad this return from the Doncic trade and this pivot could get otherwise.
Thank you, Sarah, for the $4.99 super chat. Yeah, it's how you define pressure. And Austin, Cooper's Flagg pressure, his pressure to be a great player is nothing like a LeBron James, who was anointed as the chosen one since halfway through high school. It's a very, very different type of pressure. It's more a team-wide pressure that Dallas has expectations and a lot of attention will be focused on them from their fan base, I think. If Cooper, if the Mavericks don't live up to the idea of what they're supposed to be next season. And Cooper's just a part of that. And so it's not, yes, he's on a team that is expecting to win now, and no, he's not being asked to be the best player on it, and he's not being asked to be the savior. But this team as a whole certainly has expectations, and there may be situations that Cooper does need to rise for the team to meet their expectations.
Yeah, I would say that he doesn't have pressure because people still
Yeah.
expect him to be a great player, and even if he doesn't meet that expectation in year one, people are going to say he's a bust. And I think, especially the kind of prospect that he is, he has such a high floor. No one is expecting him to be a bust. But I will say that there's never been a number one pick that's had to fill a need for a team so immediately. And he's going to be required to fill, there's a Cooper-sized hole on the team that he has to meet. And if he doesn't meet it, people aren't going to call him a bust. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. But there is a requirement for him to go meet that need and fill a playmaking need, fill a defensive need, fill a need at small forward. They need him to do a lot of things that he can do, and his skill set will translate very well to that need. But I wouldn't say there's pressure on him. I don't think people are going to call him a bust, or people are going to be upset if he's doesn't go out there and averages 25 and 5 and looks like the next coming of LeBron in year one. I think people have a lot of grace for the situation that he's going into. Everyone knows there's a reason why there's a hole for him, and he didn't create it. Someone flew a plane into the basketball team last year, and there's a huge hole in it, and now he has to go and meet it. And it's not really his fault. Actually, I think if anything, there's less pressure on him because everyone knows why people are excited for him to be on the team and why the team is in this situation in the first place. It's not because he did anything to necessitate the hype. He doesn't have to meet the hype. I think if anything, the team situation and what happened with Luka actually kind of lessens the pressure on him.
Yeah. See, I would have to say that I look at it differently. I think it's a classic two things can be true situation. On one hand, team expectations have to be tempered because Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Derek Lively are all in the midst of surgery recovery, and we don't know if any of them are going to be available on opening night. So factoring that in, the pressure on the Mavericks to win, and thus that pressure on Cooper has to be lessened. On the other side, he just joined a franchise that lost Luka Doncic. He is going to be compared to Luka Doncic, like it or not, fair or not, just like Luka was instantly compared to Dirk Nowitzki, like it or not, fair or not. So from that perspective, he is going to be under immediate and instant pressure, and I don't think there's really any way around that.
Well, I think the biggest, and I don't know if it's pressure, but the biggest expectation of all, and this is what I wrote in that piece that Tim referenced, it's not even about the on-court stuff. It's about the idea that this guy, look what else has been happening with the Mavericks recently. There's been chaos in the medical staff. There's been chaos in the coaching staff. People still don't like Nico Harrison. He's still here. This 18-year-old kid is going to be looked at, I wrote this, as essentially sort of reputation lottery, that forget whatever else you see going on with the Dallas Mavericks. When number 32 is on the floor and this guy is doing spectacular things, all is right in Dallas because this guy is here. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to win a title year one. That doesn't necessarily mean that his numbers have to be Luka's, but the better he looks, the more people are going to forget everything
He is now
else.
the hope.
Yes.
Which means he has to play to a level, whatever that is, that keeps the hope in circulation.
But I don't think
on the upswing.
Right. I just don't think that if they crash out first round this year, I don't think anybody's going to blame Cooper Flagg for that.
I think we're saying the same thing. Team success is not where the year one pressure comes for Cooper Flagg, but he has to be the rookie of the year. He has to be the best rookie in the league. He has to justify the tremendous hope and relief, frankly, that a lot of people in town are feeling after 4 months of absolute misery and dread.
I think he has a chance to rise to the occasion, and if he is the savior, if he is filling all these gaps on the team, and he's the reason that Dallas is surviving up until Kyrie Irving hopefully is back next season, that is only a plus. That is only something that he can be given and a title of oh my God, this is the guy, this is the savior. Whereas if he isn't that, it is kind of like a risk-free scenario. I don't think Dallas's situation is risk-free. I think there's certainly volatility there. But if Cooper is just part of a team that is disappointing, obviously he is not being blamed for that. And if Cooper rises, and if Cooper is the reason that this team matches and meets its expectations, that's only a great situation that I think is going to reward him. So Mike, I know that the editor, the edits, the Google
The
Docs are
words,
calling
the
for
Google
me.
Docs.
We
Calling
have
for
to let
you.
you go because I didn't get to ask my questions. I want to ask magazine. I want to ask glossy
let's do one
magazine
more,
questions.
man. Let's do
You
one
got
more.
one more?
Let's close it out.
Austin, I think the hoodies, the outside, the sun, the Bay Area is calling for you.
It might be calling for me.
Unbelievable.
Miss you, buddy.
It was great to do a little Only Mavericks podcast reunion.
With Mark Stein elevating things well above what we did on our own. Let's be clear.
Just a bit.
Just a tad.
It's,
Just
yeah,
a tad.
you know.
Hey, if you've survived any episodes with Tim Cato, you've that's an achievement in life. So
Yeah, what about hundreds?
Kudos to you.
Fortunately, I didn't derail this podcast too much. I did have plans to derail it, and I kept them to the side.
Austin, thanks for hopping on. Mike Piellucci, sticking around for one more?
Let's do it.
I really hope I'm not ruining your
Beautiful.
day.
All right, we're going to take one more break, and coming back, we're going to talk about Naji and his nicknames, then get some magazine questions in here on our final segment. But first, let me tell you about becoming a diehard. Diehard is the membership program at DLLS. You could get access to all of the written content at alldlls.com. I wrote, we talked yesterday about, the Western Conference rankings, where everybody falls. Decided to write about it. I did my way too early ranking of the Western Conference, where I've got the categories. You're not trying. What are you trying? Trying to make me put you higher. I'm trying and failing not to worry. That is a category, unfortunately, the Dallas Mavericks fell in for all the reasons we've talked about, mostly injury stuff. Still got them in the playoffs. And then you're trying to make generational guys fix your roster. That is something that applies to San Antonio, to Los Angeles, to Golden State. It does if Cooper's generational, as we were talking about. It might quite possibly apply to the Dallas Mavericks as well. Maybe Dallas should have been slid into that category. But you can find that writing. You can find Ranger stories from Jeff Wilson, Clarence Hill, and the Cowboys. We've got we've got everybody. We've got all the sports covered. It's an extension of the show, which is the first place that you can support us. But you get a free shirt of your choice from the store. It comes with your membership. We just dropped the Dallas collection. You can also access our Diehards Only Discord, where there's always conversations happening over there, talking about all the Dallas sports, other sports, pretty much a little bit of everything. You also get your physical diehard card. Mark Stein.
It's out of reach right
Unbelievable. Out of reach. I mean, it's so heavy. I mean, it's like if one day, made out of titanium, if one day.
Platinum is platinum light? I was going to say platinum isn't light, but I really don't know.
Well, it's space metal.
Yeah.
We have the best material for these things. Go to alldls.com/diehard for all information about signing up. Welcome back to the fourth segment with a surprising 15 more minutes with Mike Piellucci. We appreciate you.
If Mark Stein asked if I could stick
only
around.
11. It's only 11 more
If
minutes.
Mark Stein asked me to stick around, I'm sticking around.
I appreciate it.
Do we want to talk Naji real quick first?
Sure.
Before we get to your questions.
Sure.
So something very troubling to the show happened, I believe, last week, and Tanner has the clip. It's about
What do you think about your nickname, the Knife?
We got to come up with a new one.
Quarterback.
That's
The
corny,
quarterback.
yeah. No disrespect to Willie, that's my guy, but
What do you want it to be?
the quarterback is nice, but we got to come up with some options. I leave it to Twitter sometimes, but we got to come up with some different options.
Mark, when you saw this clip, did your heart break?
It didn't break, but look, if he doesn't like it, obviously I think on this show we all love it. Some of us on the show even like to bellow.
Wait, Mike, how do you feel about it?
Amazing nickname.
Yeah.
Amazing nickname. This reminds me, I was telling you before the show, this reminds me of when Kevin Durant didn't like, it was either Slim Reaper or Durantula, both of which are just A+ nicknames. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what are you getting that's better? And we could just call him KD.
Yeah, he referenced Willie Green, Pelicans coach. He's the one who came up with it. I mean, what was the game? Didn't Naji scored 38 at Madison Square Garden with 1-3? Like it was, it was classic knifey performance. And but he doesn't like it. And so, ultimately, I guess the people will decide. Like, does the knife now just go away? Will somebody try to come up with something new?
I'm going to be honest. Maybe I've just been a little bit tuned out, but I have not seen suitable replacements being offered by Twitter.
A bold choice.
That's like Naji.
Abby Jones asking the tough questions.
He put out the call to action, and the people haven't spoken. The people have spoken that the knife is still the best nickname. It's very troubling.
I'm seeing in the chat that
it's probably
Kevin
the
Durant,
biggest concern going into next season. This disconnect.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat that Durant likes Slim Reaper now. That is welcome news because it's a great nickname. I think Devontae Smith uses it in the NFL too.
I have not seen Naji since the season ended, but when I cross paths with him next time, I will certainly be asking him to expound on his dislike for the knife. And please explain to us why it does not resonate. But, I mean,
I'll take it. If you don't want it, you can put it on me. Mike the Knife Piellucci, I'll roll with that.
Mark, I'm gonna hand you the floor for your promise.
I am old school.
Yeah.
I love the printed word. I've been in Dallas for almost 30 years. D magazine, love a glossy magazine, love seeing it. So just like, and you guys have kept it going, which is not easy in 2025.
No.
A lot of magazines go away. I know how excited I was last year when, I love season preview magazines. I love being at the airport or Barnes and Noble or, the supermarket and seeing season preview magazines. And last year I was so excited when Athlon, which hadn't had a season preview magazine since like 2010 or 2011, they reached out to me. They said, "Hey man, you wrote for us 10, 12 years ago. Do you want to write for our season preview magazine?" Yes. That's awesome. I love being in a glossy printed magazine. So, I love my food. I love my restaurants. I know D Magazine.
Shout out Brian Reinhart, best food critic in America.
D Magazine is always going to cover the local food scene. So, I just wanted to congratulate.
Oh, thank you, man.
You guys that it is still there. It is still there on the newsstand for those of us who want to read something.
Yeah, it's going strong, man. No, it's awesome. It's been the most fun of my career being here. And I do online, but I write in print too. And every time, I got a big feature in the August issue, and every time that happens and I see it, and Elizabeth Lavin, who's our photographer, is unbelievably good. Our art director, Stephen Revelos, is amazing. It's a beautiful magazine. And I don't just say that because I work there. It's people who are so much bigger than me make it happen. But it's a group of people who really care about the city, and that's how I have my current job. I basically kind of came to them after I'd freelanced before for the late Zach Crane. I
was going to bring up, I wanted to mention Zach Crane because we all loved him deeply. All three of us knew him well, worked with him. I was honored to be. He quoted me in many of his D Magazine pieces, and just a tremendous loss for we miss him so much. He loved the Mavericks so much. Wrote a book on Dirk because he loved Dirk so much, and just.
It's called I See You, Big Chairman. If you guys watching the show have not read it, if you love Dirk, if you love the Mavericks, if you love the city of Dallas, if you love Dads and Sons, you need to get that book. It's amazing.
It's a quintessential read for Dirk, but for Dallas and why Dirk is Dallas and why Dallas is Dirk. It's technically a memoir. And if you guys knew, if you knew Zach, you knew that he was sacrificially offering up his life story because it was the way to tell the story he wanted to tell. That is not necessarily, he is never the person. He was never the person that was going to put himself in the spotlight. It was very much a sacrificial memoir, a choice to say, here's how all of my life events, even the ones I don't want to talk about, here's how they intersected with Dirk and the Mavericks. And the reason that he's telling you about his life story is because so many people in Dallas have that same journey through life and having those same moments, wrapped around and interconnected with the ups and downs of Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks throughout that same time. Yeah. I have unfortunate news about the Naji nicknames.
All right, let's hear them.
There's not good ones. Like the Naj Mahal, There's no meaning to that.
I mean,
okay, it's fun. It's fun wordplay.
I laughed. I enjoy it.
Yeah, but what is
Mark
the idea?
Folwell was saying the Naji Marshall would be art. Mark would crush that.
Martial law.
Ooh, these are these are not bad.
But
it's unwieldy, is what it is.
Yeah, I've seen the Butcher
very...
suggested a couple times because you can chop up the defense in so many different ways.
Sure,
but if we're doing the Butcher, like
you just do the knife.
Yeah, why not just stick with the knife?
The butcher knife. Then you're doing too much.
Yeah, it's just we're gonna have to work on this. I am going to spend the rest of my day coming up with the Naji nickname.
That's gonna be the whole show.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's show is just an hour of you.
It has dawned on me in this moment that the reason I am here at DLLS Mavs, the reason that like my job is now to come up with the next great nickname.
I think you're capable.
I don't, but
I don't know if I believe you, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
The real point of this segment is the knife is a classic nickname, and D Magazine is a classic magazine, and this is a classic web show, and these things are all in harmony right here.
What does the D stand for?
I heard Bobby ask that the other day, and I thought he was doing a bit, and it was not a bit. It stands for Dallas. So
like the TV show.
Yes. The TV show.
What year was the magazine founded?
It was 74 because we just did our 50th anniversary last year. So yeah, still going, still on your newsstands. In addition to stuff we're doing online, have a newsletter too. Got one of those going. So we're trying to get in all the different formats. There might be some more. You saw Mike Marshall on the show on Monday. There'll be some more video and some more audio coming through in due time. So trying to keep just doing good work for the city. That's all of us really want to do. It's one of the last family-owned media companies in the United States, and I think that's part of our secret sauce.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time that every major city had the equivalent. I don't know if I'm probably putting you on the spot here, but I'm guessing many of those publications have not.
Well, there's still a lot of city. So our awards circuit,
like Los Angeles, I know there's that.
LA Mag. I've written for LA Mag when I lived in LA. It's still out there. I mean, so there's the City Regional Magazine Awards are like our awards circuit. They do a big conference every year, and I've been, and there are still a number of magazines out there. I hope that there are as many in 10 years as there are right now, but there's still a pretty healthy amount out there because I think just people care about their cities, and that's why I work where I work. It's about the sports, and we cover all of them, and I work with an amazing group of writers, but it's also about how the sports intersect with this place that we live in that we care about. And I'm sure if you've been listening to the show, you probably hear some of my own influences and biases at work and my takes about this team with that sort of stuff.
Because someone in chat said, what is this thing called a magazine? And that was meant, I believe that was meant to be a joke, but
we can only hope.
I've told this story before. What alarmed me when in my 3+ years working at the New York Times, because I'm still like, there's still, teenage me inside this aging body. Anytime I had a story in the New York Times, I still wanted 2 hard copies of it. And my local Tom Thumb got the New York Times. So anytime I had a story in the paper, would go to Tom Thumb and try to get 2 copies of the paper. And I remember once doing that. And at checkout, the question was actually posed to me, oh, what kind of magazine is this?
Oh, boy.
And it was a newspaper.
Oh, boy. I know, but
it did make me think the youth of today probably doesn't consume either.
Well, it's different, right? I mean, but I'm like you in the sense that I freelance for the Times, and I had a couple pieces in the byline and one of the the Sunday section, and you better believe I bought up a ton of copies of that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal was always very much, all right, well, if I'm with this outlet, I want to be in print, not just online. Right?
Yeah,
I will raise my hand and as the third person on this panel to say that I also know where New York Times copies are sold.
There we go.
To buy editions where I've had, in the past stories.
The printed word is currency. It's a form of currency. It is. And I miss it. I miss it greatly.
Well, we're still around at D Magazine, and we ain't going anywhere. So come subscribe to us and come read Strong Side online.
Staff. Yeah, a great staff of Mavs contributors: Josh Bowe, Brian Damaris, and Jake Camp,
myself. We're holding it down. Shout out Istok Franco, alumni of that section, who's now so big on Substack that he's doing everything there. But yeah, man, we're trying to just compliment the stuff that you guys are doing here. You guys are doing awesome work, and I'm a big fan. I have a lot of friends in this building, and it's fun to, we're a relatively young, the sports operation there is only 4 years old, and you guys are about to hit the year birthday. So it's fun to see new, exciting, creative sports work in this city the way it should be.
Beautiful. Mike, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for wearing a Dallas Chaparral's hat.
I did that for you.
And thank you for letting me put you on the spot and have you stay an extra segment, which was not. That's the old Ben and Skin trick. They would do that to me every time. Stein, can you stay on for one more? No, guys, I'm leaving right now. Yes, I will.
Mark Stein, our National NBA insider, thank you as always. Tanner, making us look good and sound good. I'm Tim Cato. This has been our Wednesday DLS Mavs pod. We will see you tomorrow.
Hurry back, Kevin Gray.
We all silly like the mayor.